Hello Penguinauts, I'm the Beardy Penguin and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Endurance. We start trying to get our slightly damaged spacecraft off of the ground of Nemesis and away from the base of Hyperion to take our 3 Kerbals back to Solitude. Now I know there hasn't actually been any endurance for a while. That's because, well, as I'm sure you've seen, I've been focusing on Kerbal Rising, which takes a lot more time to make, but it also gets a lot more views. And, you know, the start of the series, you want to focus on it, but now we're sort of getting into the swing of things. I thought, okay, time to get back into making endurance, because, I'm not going to lie, series like Collaborative Warfare, Fall of Kerbin, and Kerbal Rising, yeah, parts of them are fun to record, but it's hours of setup. A lot of people are like, oh, Beardy, why did you just make an episode every day? They get 20,000 views. You upload Hearts of Iron 4 videos every other day. Why didn't you just make Kerbal Rising? I'm going to have that whole thing spewed back at me in the comments now, but, like, Hearts of Iron 4, I can spend a day recording Hearts of Iron 4 and record an entire series, edit it all, get it all rendered, pre-upload it, and boom, the whole month is done, essentially, for Hearts of Iron 4. Kerbal Rising, I get 1 episode done in an entire day. Okay, that's the difference in time investment it takes. Endurance is sort of halfway between them, so essentially what you see is what you get. I don't have to do much preparation, I just press record and just play the game, but I have to play quite a lot because most of it is actually in fast forward, so there you go. That's my upload schedule that's basically non-existent in a nutshell. And here we are, we've arrived back on Solitude. And now what we're doing is we're hiring ourselves 2 more scientists. Now we're actually getting them at level 0 because in the flight up to Talos 1, which is where we're going now, they're going to gain enough experience and we can actually level them up using the science lab. Somebody pointed that out to me, said, Beardy, don't waste money hiring them at higher levels, just hire them at level 0, fly them up there and they should get enough experience just on the flight up to Guardian to be leveled up to level 1. Because, of course, we are expanding Talos 1. We have a bit of an explosion there. I should have probably put some Cephalotrons on my boosters, but I forgot. We're expanding Talos 1 with another module. We've got a contract to add yet another science lab to the station and a bit more crew capacity. So we're taking this opportunity to put an agroponics module on and just a few more life supporty things and also some engineering stuff. So I'm calling this the agroponics / engineering module because it's got some Kerbal attachment system stuff on board as well. So all sorts of supplies, solar panels, parachutes, docking ports, fuel lines, struts, all sorts of things that we might need. And we're sending up a bunch of new crew members. We've got 4 scientists on board, so 2 of the new ones, and then we've got Peter Kerman and someone else, because of course the rest of our scientists are off on Hyperion, chilling on the surface of Nemesis. We've also have a medic just to keep everyone happy, keep everyone healthy for longer, so they can stay in space for a long period of time. And we of course have a pilot who's commanding the mission, and last but not least, we have an engineer, of course, to do all the Kerbal attachment system stuff. It's just in case it actually needs doing. We're not getting paid a huge amount to do this, but I thought, hey, if we're sending the crew up there, we might as well send them up in a new module. And we're running out of life support on Talos 1 anyway, so we might as well put a few more recyclers and a bunch more life support. And actually a bunch more monopropellant. You see, we've got a big monopropellant tank, because we were starting to run out of it, because manoeuvring a large station with that many RCS modules does start to drink the monopropellant pretty damn quickly. But anyway, we're just doing our Transguardian injection burn, and here we go, we're getting out, and our stage actually burns out just before we finish the burn, so we just have to finish off with that little service propulsion engine, and there we go, we have our trajectory. I kind of don't want to think about how many second stages we have on really eccentric trajectories off towards Nemesis and Guardian. There must be loads of them at this point, just because of the way I build my rockets. We just have loads of stages that don't quite have enough fuel to be able to burn to crash into Guardian or Nemesis. But yeah, a little bit too much fuel to fall back into the atmosphere. Just the way I build my rockets. Probably not the most efficient or safe way of building them really, but hey, you know, it is what it is. I don't have a perfect Kerbal space program, so yeah, you know. I'm pretty sure people don't watch me because they think I'm perfect at the game. I think I've been talking to people about this actually, like what is it about my channel? Most people seem to think it's just I have interesting ideas for series, mainly, you know, Fall of Kerbin, Collaborative Warfare, Kerbal Rising, even Endurance. I'm just full of ideas. I have a really, really active imagination, and I think the reason why I'm doing relatively well, but like Tape Gaming is a lovely guy, and he's got, I think, 7,000, 8,000 more subscribers than me. I think he's just more entertaining than me to say that. I think I get through just sort of basically off of content. I don't think I'm that much of an entertaining person. I just sort of talk over possibly more interesting gameplay. Maybe you disagree with me. Let me know in the comments what you actually watch my channel for, because I've watched my own channel, obviously. I watch my videos. I don't know why I'm entertaining. I'm not saying like I don't understand why I'm so entertaining to myself. No, I mean I don't think I'm entertaining whatsoever. So yeah, other people tell me otherwise or mock me mercilessly for having a YouTube channel. Trust me, if you ever make a YouTube channel and you're still in school, don't tell anyone that you have it. Yeah, bad idea. Anyways, so we're finally docking the module to Talos 1. As you see, we have a bit of a bumpy docking, but all we have to do then is maneuver the station round so that our module is facing prograde, and then we can just fire that booster backwards into the surface of Guardian, and there we go. Our station has now got yet another module on board. So what we have to do is start up the agroponics, start all the new habitats up. And I believe they can stay on there for 400 days now. We've got the new scientists in 2 of the labs. We're not using the 3rd lab. We don't have enough scientists to utilise it or enough scientific data. But trust me, 2 labs plus the lab on Hyperion, yeah, that's more than enough science to be producing for now. Anyway, now we've finally got Hyperion up and running and Talos 1 is back and operational again, we can continue with our interplanetary voyages. So this is Tribute 1. As we know, this was heading out to the Wasteland, which was formerly Kerbin before it was abandoned, and we headed out to Solitude to colonise it and get away from the ever-expanding wrath of Archangel. You see, we actually fail a contract there, but just from not doing it for so long. That was a contract which gave us the Vector engine as a prototype part. We had to test it in orbit of Guardian or something, so obviously I just never did that contract because it gave me the Vector engine really, really early, allowing us to build space shuttles. So I just never completed the contract, because if you complete a contract to test an experimental part, then you don't get to use the part anymore. So yeah, it's a bit annoying that we can't use that anymore, but we're about to unlock it anyway. We just need to get enough funds to upgrade the R&D centre, because we have a lot of science stockpiled from those stations, and we're going to get a lot of science, as you can see, from the Wasteland. We also get a lot of money. We get a bunch of world firsts, and we get a lot more money from those world firsts because we pledged our entire space program to going to the Wasteland. We get plus 100% milestone gains from the Wasteland, which is pretty nice. We first see that we're actually going to a retrograde orbit, which isn't going to be particularly helpful in getting to the moon of the Wasteland, which is called Malice, and also from just getting down to the surface. But we just grab our scientific data, reverse our orbit round, so we're actually going into a prograde orbit, orbiting west to east, and then we descend towards the surface. So crowdsourced science is actually playing up at this point in time. There was a problem with the CFG, the config files, so I had to go cry to Games Links, and he fixed it for me. So that's why we're not actually grabbing any scientific data on this descent after that initial high space one. So you're getting beautiful shots of the rings of the Wasteland. The reason it has wings? It doesn't have wings. The reason it has rings is actually because Minmus and the moon have collided. If you look at Malice, the moon of the Wasteland, it's a pretty weird amalgamation of green and grey. It's because the moon and Minmus have actually crashed into each other, creating this massive disk of debris and a rather funky looking moon. But we managed to get ourselves into orbit, and we get some pretty gorgeous views of the scorched world below us. So now we're low over the Wasteland and we've fixed crowdsourced science. We can grab ourselves some reports. Things seem a bit over nominal, but the surface should be fine. Well, you know, I beg to differ looking at the hellhole that it is, but sure. The instrument reads 0. It's as if it were in a vacuum. Mystery goo observation. Let's have a look at that. The mystery goo is hesitant to be experimented on, as if it knows this place. Ooh. Gamma ray experiment? I don't think we don't have one for that. And analyze magnetosphere. Yeah. The KSP Interstellar stuff we usually don't have reports for. And there we go. It's going to take quite a bit of electric charge to transmit all those reports though, so we're going to go round to the daytime side, and then we're going to transmit them like so. So there we go. Oh, hello. Wrong one. We have to go through each one manually. Oh, yay. Review data. Should have just kept it up, really, shouldn't we? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Transmit science. So even though we've only got 25% or 23% connection here, we've got a big enough antenna that it's still relatively fast. We should probably upgrade our deep space network though, but that costs a lot of money to upgrade the tracking station, so we're going to hold on that for now. So now we've got all the data we need to get from orbit around the wasteland. It's time to ditch our atmospheric probes. We have 3 probes because of course we need to land probes in 3 different biomes of the wasteland in order to complete our strategy. Wasteland probes, get 250,000 funds, a bunch of reputation, and then complete it, no longer giving us those milestone gains. But that would be the end of the mission anyway. So here we go. Now the wasteland is very, very hot. This close to Archangel, the atmosphere is absolutely fiery. So what we're doing is we're actually descending into the atmosphere on the night side, which, trust me, helps a lot with the heating problems. As you see, the decoupler there just getting instantly just melting off. Thank God we have some pretty tough heat shields. We're having to maneuver it all the time to try and make sure that the fuel tank that's being shielded by the heat shield isn't taking too much damage. But thankfully, we managed to get ourselves through the atmosphere, narrowly avoiding landing in one of the lava oceans. Yes, this has oceans of lava. That's how hot this this world is. And we managed to descend over the scorched Midlands. I think it's scorched Midlands. There's always some kind of hot term before the different biomes. But as you can see, the atmosphere is actually so hot that our parachute burns off. Thankfully though, we have enough delta V in our orbital maneuvering engines to bring us down to a powered landing. I'm not gonna lie, when that parachute burnt off, I thought this mission was toast, quite literally. But thank God we actually included enough delta V on these little things to make a powered landing. Yeah, wow, okay, that was more than a little bit nerve-wracking, but now we're here on the ground. We can, well, first of all, get a massive reward when it comes to world firsts. Oh, glorious. Let's take ourselves a seismic scan. All readings indicate this is a planet. However, it has seen much better days. We'll keep that for now, and what we need to do is time warp around to the daytime so we can get some solar power, so we can start transmitting all of that data that we got. Okay, so we're going to be out of range of Tribute 1, so okay, let's wait for Tribute 1 to get back round so we can get a connection. There we go. And look at, oh, hello! It is very hot on the surface of this planet. Yeah, wow, okay, let's turn off the temperature gauges just so they stop stressing me out. But look at that. This used to be Kerbin. Look how far it's fallen. Wow. That's truly amazing. Where are we? We're in Northern Cathenia. If you haven't seen Fall of Kerbin, it's another series I did on Kerbal Space Program, and this country we're in is Northern Cathenia. Yeah. Looks like all the capitalist scum are long dead by now. Right, let's transmit some of this science, shall we? Holy crap. Look at that sunset. Wow. So this must have an atmosphere similar to Mars in composition now, in such that the atmosphere composition scatters red light. So during the day, as you see, the atmosphere is red, but when it gets to night time, well, sunset, and the light is passing through a lot more of the atmosphere, the red light is scattered, and as such the blue light pierces through, so you get blue sunsets. Now on Earth the atmosphere composition is different. Well, on Kerbin it used to be different, so it's the other way around, but on Mars there are actually blue sunsets, much like the one we're seeing now. That is awesome. Oh, here we go, we got our world first. I forgot to close that. Right, shall we transmit some of this scientific data then? Indicators are shaking irregularly. We'll transmit that. Starting transmission. Yeah, we still have a connection to Tribute 1. It's just fine. I think we're still getting... yeah, we're still getting power on our solar panels. Yeah, solar power's pretty abundant in the After Kerbin planet pack. So yeah, I don't think we have to worry about it too much. And there we go. 50 data received. 75 science. Let's transmit the readings we took from the upper atmosphere. Review data. It's a much thinner atmosphere than the historical documents said. Well, I assume it would be. A lot of it's been stripped off into space, but it is very, very hot still. Right. Review data. Still freezingly cold here. That was from the upper atmosphere though, so we don't need to worry too much about that. And there we go. Transmit that, and now we can grab the temperature scan from here. You guess it wasn't hot like this when Kerbal still lived here. Indeed. Got the antenna going up and down like a bloody jack-in-the-box, haven't we? Maybe just keep it extended. Is it staying extended? It is, okay. No, it's going back down. Barometer suddenly goes into the negative and breaks. Fair enough. All right, and there we go. Right, so we're in the sweltering Midlands right now. So what we need to do is land a probe in the lowlands and the highlands, and then we will have completed our strategy, which is there we go, wasteland probes. So obviously we can't land in the burning oceans because they're lava oceans. Okay, we're not going to be landing in lava. Our craft are resilient, as you can see, but yeah, they're not that resilient. It looks like we get just enough nighttime that it has time to cool down. But in the daylight, yeah, we're certainly pushing the boundaries of how much heat these little probes can take. But yeah, we need to land in the charring Upper Midlands and the melting peaks, and then we will have completed our strategy, we'll get a massive reward, and we'll be able to upgrade our entire space centre. So, round 2, time to send yet another atmospheric probe into the fiery hell that is the wasteland. You can probably see that we moved Tribute 1 into a slightly higher orbit. That was so that since it's acting as the relay for our communications back to Solitude, it needs to be in a higher orbit to make sure it stays over us while we're descending through the atmosphere. If it stayed in that low orbit, then it would pass over us and then we would lose communications while we were descending through the atmosphere, and that would be kind of terrible to lose communications with these, especially considering we're having to do powered landings. I was not actually expecting the parachutes to burn off, but I had a few people in my Discord then tell me about it and talk about it. They didn't expect me to be able to do it, but yeah, it turns out we did put enough delta V in these little orbital maneuvering engines, which we barely actually used for orbital maneuvering, to actually set ourselves down on the surface. I'm really glad I didn't put big mobile materials labs on these things, only small resettable experiments. Otherwise, they would not have been able to land. Well, we're starting to get the hang of this now, aren't we? Let's have a look at the temperature. Are we alright? Yeah, temperature's okay, but I assume as soon as we get around to the daylight side, things are going to start heating up again. Let's grab ourselves another seismic scan. Indicators are shaking irregularly. Right, same as before, we'll time warp around until we can actually get ourselves some sunlight on those solar panels. So we have to wait for Tribute 1 to go around. I'm hoping Tribute 1 doesn't have an encounter with Malice. We're waiting until we've completed this strategy before we go to Malice, because of course we lose a lot of money on milestone gains for anybody that isn't the wasteland. So there we go. We have our connection. Yeah, but it's pretty toasty. Pretty toasty, but we knew that. Let's turn those off. Alright, let's have a look at our data. Temperature is beginning to rise rapidly. We'll transmit that. And so that's in the lower atmosphere. Now what we have to do is get data from the melting peaks. Terrain, terrain, pull up, pull up! Certainly did have a bit of a moment like that, considering, yeah. I wasn't expecting to have to do powered landings on this planet, but yeah. Thankfully we're actually capable of doing it, so yeah. There we go. Let's just extend this antenna. Can we just extend it permanently? Thank you very much. Review data. We'll transmit that. Seismic scan from yet another biome. That's another 75 science. It shall make a welcome addition to my collection. Haha. Where did we land this time? Are we in? No, we're not in Cathenia still. We're in, well, I guess you can call it the Agonach Imperium, or Agonach Industries, depending on what time period it is. But yeah, it's a pretty good. Well, it's the largest continent on the surface of Kerbin. It'd be quite nice. I call it Kerbin. It is the wasteland. It'd be quite nice if we landed on the KSC continent, though. That's what I'm going to aim for in the next one. But with the eccentric orbit and everything, and the way everything's aligned, and me wanting to save fuel on Tribute 1, we don't have a huge amount of choice over our landing sites. It's pure dumb luck that we've landed in the correct biomes so far. Brom 6 suddenly goes into negative and breaks. Transmit that. The gauge on the thermometer is spinning rapidly while the mercury inside has exploded. Lovely. I think we're getting the gist that it's quite hot on the surface of the wasteland. So it's time to launch our third and final atmospheric probe. Our entire space program is actually betted on this mission succeeding. If even one of these probes failed, we would be fined almost 2 million funds, which would bankrupt us. That's how how important this mission is. You know, the rewards are crazy. You know, the increase to milestone rewards and all that for pledging the space program to a strategy like Wasteland probes. But once you've done it, you can't afford to screw it up. It's like NASA pledging to do the Apollo program and then smashing Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin into the face of the moon. Yeah, the PR backlash from that and subsequent loss of funding probably would have been catastrophic. Saying that, they probably would have just tried again. I think the chances of that were actually so high that Nixon had a speech prepared for the eventuality that the Apollo astronauts died. But thankfully, our probe gets down to the surface just fine, jettison the heat shield, and come in for a nice gentle landing on the continent of Cthulhu. And there we have it. We've landed in the final biome. Wasteland probes, 250,000 funds. You've successfully performed an automated exploration of the wasteland. And 60 reputation. Wonderful! Let's grab ourselves a temperature scan. The gauge on the thermometer is spinning rapidly while the mercury inside has exploded. Pressure scan. You get an ordinary reading, nothing special. Okay. All readings indicate this is a planet. Fair enough. Right, we'll warp ourselves round to the daytime side, do the usual thing, get ourselves a connection to Tribute 1. Oh, hello. Oh, we had a connection there. Well, I think we might have to go around a few times. I missed that. But where are we? At the top of a massive mountain. What continent are we on? Oh, we're on the Cthulhian continent. Oh, hello. Yeah, the continents have shifted a bit. Over the time since we left this planet. So yeah, it looks like this is now the equator, or either that or I have an inclined orbit, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, my orbit's in line with the rings. So yeah, clearly I don't know, are we more south than where the Space Center originally was? It's quite hard to tell, really, because the surface is quite different. Is that where the Space Center was? That little peninsula there? No, it was more over here, wasn't it? I'm probably wrong. It's hard to tell because the landscape has changed. I think that little peninsula there, if you can see, might be where the Space Center used to be, but it's certainly hard to tell. No, I think that's it actually. Yeah, we're on the mountains overlooking the Space Center. Which have, they've certainly been weathered quite a bit in this time, haven't they? Yeah! Awesome! Well, we managed to land in Cthulhu, and we also managed to land in the final biome. More by luck than judgment. I mean, all skill, all skill. No, it was, yeah, entirely luck and no judgment. Not gonna lie. Right, let's time warp around until we actually get a connection again. There we go. Wonderful. And now we can transmit our science. Review data. There we go. Transmit that. I probably should have extended the antenna first. It's going to keep going up and down like it did before, isn't it? Is it going to do that? Is it going to get... Yep. Okay, let's extend it first. There we go. We'll review data. Transmit that. And then we will review our seismic scan. There we go. Wonderful! We get a bit more money from To Boldly Go To. And there we go.